For years, we believed that these burgers were 100% beef. But what if I told you that some of the biggest chains have been caught serving meat filled with fillers, soy, and even horse DNA? Lawsuits and scandals reveal the ugly truth. These 9 chains prove that 100% beef isn't always what it seems. That late night craving and the cheesy ads, everyone's favorite bell to ring when hunger hits, but it's not quite clean with its ingredients. When Taco Bell was exposed back in 2011, it shocked everyone. A lawsuit claimed that their seasoned beef was only 36% beef. The rest was a mix of fillers, oats, soy, and additives. Taco Bell denied the lawsuit, but quietly changed marketing from seasoned beef to taco meat filling. Well, that says enough. So, if the tacos themselves barely qualify as beef, what do you think their burgers would look like? But if you thought tacos were questionable, wait until you hear what's inside the world's most famous burger. The king of fast food, the golden arches, and childhood memories for millions. But here's the ugly truth. The burgers that made McDonald's famous aren't exactly the 100% beef dream that we've all been sold. For years, critics have exposed additives hiding in those patties. Remember pink slime? That lean, finely textured beef is treated with ammonia and made headlines everywhere in the 2000s. McDonald's swore they phased it out, but by then the image was already burned into people's minds. And then came the biggest twist, that bold 100% beef claim. Sounds pure, right? But reports revealed a supplier literally named 100% beef. So was it really about quality or just a loophole in marketing? And if the world's most powerful burger chain can play games like that, what do you think the rest of them are doing? Everyone loves to brag about the Whopper, right? Flame grilled, bigger, juicier, McDonald's rival. Sounds like the perfect burger, right? But imagine biting into a Whopper only to find out part of it was horse meat. Back in 2013, Burger King's reputation went up in flames. The UK horse meat scandal exposed DNA from horse meat inside their patties. That's right, horse meat in a Whopper. Burger King scrambled to blame a European supplier. But think about it. How does a massive global chain miss horse meat slipping into its supply chain? Customers didn't buy the excuses, and the trust took a hit that still lingers. And it doesn't stop there. Even today, critics point to preservatives and fillers loaded into those so-called flame-grilled burgers. So ask yourself, when you bite into a Whopper, are you eating the royal treatment or just another cost-cutting blend? Because if Burger King's crown is stained, imagine what's hiding under the next bun. And speaking of buns, the next chain takes it to another level. Fresh, never frozen. That's Wendy's big slogan. It sounds clean and honest, but is it really? Sure, the beef is fresh, but fresh doesn't always mean pure. Reports have revealed flavor additives, preservatives, and binding agents mixed into those patties, all there to keep the burgers looking good and tasting consistent. And lawsuits? Yep, Wendy's has faced claims of false advertising over what's actually inside their so-called fresh beef. So, the question is, how fresh can a burger really be if it's padded with chemicals? Now think about that. A chain that markets itself as the honest alternative, but behind the counter the story changes. If Wendy's bending the truth, what about the others who don't brag about being fresh at all? Because if never frozen isn't enough to guarantee purity, maybe the whole game is rigged. Now if you thought American chains had it bad, wait until we cross the border. In Canada, A&W loves to show off hormone-free, grass-fed, better beef. The ads make it sound like it is the cleanest burger that you could buy. But here's the catch. Tests have shown that those patties still contain additives for flavor and texture. So while customers thought they were biting into pure farm-fresh meat, the reality wasn't so simple. And that's the trick. A&W doesn't have to lie outright. They just market around the truth. But when a brand screams about being healthier while slipping additives inside, it raises the question, how much of that better beef is just better marketing? Because if even the so-called healthier choice cuts corners, what hope is left for the rest? But the real shocker, a chain that built its empire on the slogan, "Eat fresh," yet wasn't even serving real meat. Eat fresh. That is Subway's slogan, but fresh doesn't always mean real. In Canada, tests revealed their chicken was only about 50% actual chicken DNA. The rest? Soy. So let that sink in. Half of the chicken wasn't even chicken. So how can you trust their beef? Their steak subs, their burger-style sandwiches, critics have pointed out the fillers, flavorings, and sky-high sodium levels. Suddenly, fresh starts to look like a marketing costume hiding a much cheaper reality. Because once a brand gets exposed like that, can you ever look at the menu the same way again? And we've already gone through some big names, but the list doesn't stop there, so let's move on to the next royal ones. White Castle, famous for those little square burgers, but here's the secret that most people don't know: those patties are far from beef. They are bulked up with soy protein concentrate, hydrolyzed vegetable protein, and other fillers that stretch the meat further and cut costs. Sounds cheap, right? And to make things worse, the sliders aren't even grilled. They are steamed on a bed of onions, soaking up grease and oil instead of cooking clean. So when you pop one of those bite-sized burgers into your mouth, are you tasting tradition or just a mix of fillers disguised as beef? Because if even the smallest burger in America is hiding this much inside, what do you think the big ones are doing? Well, think again, because it gets worse with the next one. Carl's Jr. and Hardee's are basically the same chain with different names depending on where you live. They advertise big, juicy burgers, but their beef patties aren't as clean as they look on commercials. Many of their burgers contain added flavorings and preservatives. Some even use beef flavor to enhance the taste of the meat itself. That means you're eating a burger that has been artificially boosted, not naturally flavorful. And on top of that, the calorie count on some of their signature burgers easily crosses 1,200 per sandwich. Imagine loading your body with that kind of fake-filled beef bomb. So indirectly, we are eating a lab creation designed to fool our taste buds. And speaking of fooling ourselves, that is exactly what Sonic Drive-In does. Sonic is best known for its drive-in setup and huge menu, but their burgers are loaded with something else. The patties often contain fillers like soy protein and modified starch, plus preservatives to keep them shelf-stable. Customers have also complained about the inconsistent quality of the meat, sometimes dry, sometimes greasy, but rarely fresh. Add their sugary buns and calorie-packed sauces, and you're left with a meal that has more chemicals than quality beef. So what do you think when fast food turns into fast science? How much real beef is actually left on your plate? And just when you thought that you could trust the premium option, the final name on this list will surprise you the most. Shake Shack has a reputation for being a more premium fast food chain, but don't be fooled. While some of their burgers are 100% Angus beef, others include processed cheese sauces, artificial flavorings, and sodium-packed condiments that take away from that fresh image. Even their vegetarian shroom burger contains hidden additives in the patty coating. So when one is searching for clean beef, the other has to look out for sauces, right? Now you know the truth behind these burgers, but do you still trust fast food chains when they say 100% beef? Or is it all just marketing? Tell us what you think down in the comments, and don't forget to subscribe for more food industry secrets.